There is something that seems to bother me about this water crisis that has been happening in California for quite some time now. Sure, there are people who think that this crisis isn't as bad because we still currently have water that comes out of the hoses at our homes. The question that these people should be asking is for exactly how long will we continue to have that privilege? In some countries, it's nearly impossible to get a hold of clean water, yet we take this for granted in the United States. As time goes by and our actions continue to be the same, water in California will be scarce more and more. If we don't fix a couple of our actions. It's difficult for people to understand this problem because when we step outside, we don't really see that there is less and less water for us to consume. For example, in the morning when we wake up and look outside the window and see that there is fog outside, we know right away that we should wear a sweater. That would be the smartest solution to that problem. But when people don't see what's happening underneath their feet, it's hard for them to react in a manner of panic. People say water will be like the new oil. There is really no debating that because there are other alternatives other than using oil. But once we use up all the clean water, there will be no more. Unless there are an abundance of storms that will bring plenty of water. There is this sign I see every time I go down Highway 59. The sign reads, "Pray for water." At first I didn't really think much of it. As I thought about it more and more, I soon came to the conclusion that without clean water, it would damage the lives of many Americans, California, and affect the rest of the country as well. Reason behind this is that we know that California produces a lot of food for the country and the rest of the world as well. Since we have fertile soil, the perfect climate at times during the year, and last but not least, water. The farmers of California have been having to deal with this headache for quite some time now. An option to this problem that has been really famous in the past couple of months is digging deep into the ground to get a hold of water. Stanford University came out with a report stating that nearly 60% of the state's water needs are now met by groundwater. Without water, what just was a water crisis will then become an economic crisis because that will leave a large amount of agricultural workers unemployed. For some of these workers, agricultural work may be the only thing they've done for their entire lives. We're all familiar with the types of unemployment, and the type this group of people would be going through is structural unemployment. We also know that it would be hard for these people to even relocate to where their skills meet an employer's demand, since it's expensive and it would be hard to leave everything behind, such as a house a family has been working to pay off for years. There are two solutions that interested me because one is so simple, yet it would be a difficult task for the people who live in California, and the other costs a lot of money. The simple one is a no-brainer, because that solution would be to use less water. According to the Pacific Institute, the average American uses 70 gallons of water per day. The shocking thing is that that same institute estimated that we only need about 13 gallons of water per day to have a good standard of living. That means that 57 gallons are being wasted in a time in which we're running out of water. The second solution is desalination, which comes at a price of $1 billion. Desalination is a process in which seawater is converted into clean water. The cost of desalination is not only its startup cost, but also what it would take to keep it running. The thing about these projects is that they require large amounts of electricity. Hopefully, desalination makes this water crisis a thing of the past and stops farmers from digging deep into the ground. We also have to do our part and try to consume less water in efforts to put an end to this water crisis. Thank you.